Hello. Welcome to the first video of 2025. I have still not gotten used to saying that, but we are only 5 days in, so I'm sure it will all. What am I saying? I'll get used to it. Yeah, fuck it. So yeah, hi, welcome. How are you? How are you finding the new year? I'm sure it's not that much different from last year. I hope you're well. I'm doing okay. I've been better, I won't lie. But that being said, I'm doing significantly better than I was this time last year. On the 5th of January 2024, I got COVID for the first time. And it was when myself and my mum and my sister travelled down to the south of the country to visit family. That was the plan. We were going to visit family and to celebrate my grandmother's birthday. However, we all ended up bringing COVID with us because of the idiots at home who don't believe in taking COVID tests or fucking vaccinating themselves or wearing masks or any of that stuff. So they were on holiday and then they came back from that holiday bringing COVID with them, and then we caught COVID and took it down with us when we went to go visit family. And the entire plan had to be cancelled because obviously we're not going to spread COVID around to the rest of our family members, especially my grandmother, who at the time was still undertaking chemotherapy, and that really would have messed things up. So we had to cancel those plans and reschedule for, I think it was March of last year, so a couple months later. But yeah, we did do that. So yeah, compared to last year, I'm doing much better. Well, I say that. Compared to 364 days ago, I'm doing much better. So yeah. It's also my brother's birthday tomorrow. Today is my grandmother's birthday, and tomorrow is my brother's birthday. I'm not sure how old they are going to be. Oh. My grandma is 82 years old today, and my brother will be 29 tomorrow. That's crazy. My brother is almost in his 30s. That feels strange to say. But to be fair, this year I'm going to be halfway through my 20s, so that's even stranger to say. Yeah, I'm going to be 25 years old this year. That's not something I want to think about right now. So yeah, 2025, here we are. Not much has happened for me so far this year. I'm still here in my accommodation by myself. I did not go home for Christmas. So I've spent my Christmas holidays here alone, which is most of the reason why I'm just doing okay, because I haven't really seen anybody for a couple weeks now. We broke up on the 20th of December, which was over 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And I haven't been able to socialize with my friends or see anyone or talk to anyone. That's not entirely true, um, because on Thursday I was able to see a friend from uni for the first time in a couple of weeks, and we spent a few hours together at the library. We were supposed to do studying, but it didn't really happen. We kind of just talked a bunch, but it was nice. It was really nice actually to be able to hang out with someone again after so long. And I think maybe there are plans to visit a different city, another nearby city, at some point next week with that same person. So if that does happen, great. I'm gonna be happy. Um, so yeah, I haven't been alone the entire duration, but for the majority of it, I have been by myself, and it has been difficult. Um, Despite staying here being my choice, my decision, it wasn't an easy decision to make, and I knew that by staying here, I would risk feeling lonely, which is exactly what I felt. Um, but I have so far managed to find ways to keep myself busy. Um, for the first week of the holiday, I was working on one of my assignments, which I actually submitted yesterday. So, woohoo! Great, good job, me. Um, I submitted that essay yesterday, and I have one more essay to write, but that's due in just under 3 weeks, so I still have plenty of time to work on that one. Um, so, yeah, it's been a somewhat uneventful period of time for me. I've tried to go to the climbing gym every other day. I've tried to go out for walks and just kind of change up my surroundings, get some fresh air. Um, but I can't lie, every time I come back, or, every time I have a moment of not really doing anything, I'm either just contemplating my thoughts and my feelings, and um, just thinking about how kind of depressing this period is. Until people start coming back, it's yeah, it is a bit depressing. I can't lie, because when I'm not doing things, I don't have the motivation to do anything. I just kind of sit in my chair and just either scroll through my phone or just listen to music, or sometimes both. It's really quite an unproductive time, but it's so hard to just find the motivation to do something more productive. I think if I was still able to see friends and talk to friends in person, I wouldn't have these depressive episodes where I'm feeling lonely and unmotivated and all this stuff. But I'm hoping people are going to start coming back soon-ish, maybe in the next couple of weeks. these feelings of loneliness will fade away, hopefully. But yeah, it's been strange living here alone. I mean, I live in a studio apartment, so I live alone anyway. But I also feel like the only person in the building. Um, and that's been strange because there's usually some degree of noise somewhere in the building. My upstairs neighbors are often quite noisy, stomping around, playing music. Yeah, I don't know if I miss that necessarily, but there's usually like the sound of doors opening and closing, and the sound of people using their electronic keys to get into their rooms, and the sound of people going up and down the stairs, and it's just, background noise usually. But since we broke up for Christmas, it's been pretty much silent the entire time. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who's walked in and out of this building who also lives here. There have been a couple of like people, like there's a couple of staff members that work in the office. They weren't here over Christmas, but now that Christmas is done, I've seen them a couple times, but they're not really people that I talk to. I do feel like the only resident at the moment, so it's just been a bit strange. But yeah, I don't know. It's not going to last too much longer, and I do have another essay to write up, which is going to keep me occupied for probably 2 weeks or something. Because it's quite an involved assignment. I've got to do a bunch of reading and research before I even start writing. So that's going to be fun. Really not looking forward to it, I can't lie, but it has to be done. It is graded, so it's important. But once it is done, I can fully relax until we start back up in February. And I'm hoping by the time it's done, some people will have come back as well. So I may have opportunities to spend time with people just before going back to uni. So that'll be good. And speaking of uni, actually, I just the other day emailed and made a request to change my optional module. So the way that the semesters are laid out, at least for this course, you have to do a certain number of compulsory modules, and then you also get to pick from multiple optional modules. You have to pick a specific number of optional modules, but you get a short list of options you can choose from. And originally, when we were given this choice of our optional module for second semester, I chose a module called multilingualism, which at the time made the most sense because I am studying on a course that is teaching me a second language. So multilingualism kind of just made it was the obvious choice. It made the most sense to me. And so I didn't really put much thought into it when I originally chose it. However, we were given that choice quite early on in the semester, and I don't feel like we really had a grasp on what we wanted to do in the future at that point. Like, we didn't really know what aspects of the course we liked yet. So I do feel like it was a bit of a premature choice, but we had to choose one at that time. So I chose that one and kind of forgot about it. But the other day I was reminded of that whole thing, like the optional modules, and towards the end of the first semester, I was kind of the opinion that phonetics would be more interesting, or at least like more useful. Um, so I, like I said, emailed and made a request to swap my optional module from multilingualism to phonetics, because throughout the entire first semester we took the time and effort to learn phonetics. We learned the International Phonetic Alphabet, we learned how to transcribe words, we learned how to label words, we learned a bunch of stuff, right? All to do with phonetics. And if I had continued with multilingualism, I would not be able to continue the study of phonetics until second year, which feels like, or felt like, a waste of time and effort. You know, the first semester was 12 weeks long. We spent 12 weeks learning phonetics until the exam in the final week. Well, actually, no. Yeah, no, the exam was in the final week. And we got our results in the same week, and I got a pretty good grade. And, it just felt like all that work and effort was for nothing if I had continued with multilingualism. So I emailed, got it changed. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but we don't start until February, so we've got plenty of time for them to like fix things. But I have made the switch to phonetics for a second semester, because I think I would rather build upon that knowledge as opposed to learning a bunch of new things that I haven't done before. Like the idea of building upon pre-existing knowledge appeals to me more, because it's just it's something that I can improve upon, it's something that I can get better at, as opposed to like having my focus drawn onto multiple new things. I can focus on something that I already have like a base knowledge on, if that makes sense. So I made the switch, and I'm looking forward to doing that. It does mean I'm going to have to brush up on my phonetics, because after the exam, I mean, obviously, didn't even before the exam, actually, during the final week, I was like, oh, I only need to get a good grade in this exam, and then I can just forget all my phonetic stuff. Don't need to worry about it, because I'm not doing it again. But obviously that's now changed, so I do need to worry about it, and probably review everything that I have already done. But yeah, so that's a change that's happened recently. Once I get the confirmation email, I will, I guess, update. But yeah. What else? There's so much more. to talk about. I just need to find it in my brain. So yeah, this week has been pretty good, I'd say. Like just in general. I mean, this week started in 2024 and it's ended in 2025, which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, New Year's I did the live stream, which some of you listening were probably there. And the rest of the week has been me figuring out the final finishing touches on my first essay, which is the one that I submitted yesterday. Yeah, and then today's been pretty uneventful. I did wake up quite early. It was not intentional. So to give a little bit of context, not this Friday, but last Friday, I was climbing, and I was climbing up a route that I hadn't done before, but it was quite tricky, but it wasn't like impossible. I think I probably could do it. However, as I was attempting it, my foot slipped off the wall, and I fell. And as I fell, I scraped my left hand, down the wall. And so I ended up taking small chunks out of my knuckles, which was quite painful, I'll admit. But what was I saying? Yeah, so I scraped my knuckles. There was blood, but over the past week or so, it has slowly been healing, and scabs formed on my knuckles. I've tried to be really careful about like how erratic I move my hand, because it is still painful, like to touch. And I noticed that the scabs were starting to like naturally come off, but they weren't ready to come off yet. It's just because they're right on the knuckle, right on the joint, so even just like moving my fingers kind of causes them to come off. So anyway, gradually one of them has been falling off more and more, and this morning I was awoken by the intense pain of one of the scabs finally being ripped off. And yeah, there was a bit of blood. I got blood on my sheets, on my bed sheets, on my pillowcase. And it was a very painful way to start my day this morning. Thankfully, it didn't like bleed for too long, and it has since stopped, obviously. But yeah, so that happened at like 6:30 this morning or something ridiculous. But when I looked out my window, I noticed. So that whole story, by the way, of the climbing accident, that was context. That was background information for what I'm about to talk about. So I woke up this morning at like 6:30ish, in pain, and I looked out my window, and there was snow. There was a lot of snow. So much snow, in fact, that it actually stuck to the ground, which doesn't always happen here in England. Sometimes it snows and it kind of just melts away, and it doesn't stick, but it stuck. And I looked out the window and I was like, man, I kind of want to go outside in the snow. The first snow of the year. I kind of want to go out, but it was still 6:30 in the morning. So I debated it for a little bit before eventually succumbing to the idea of going out in the snow. And so I was out in the snow. At around 7 a.m., it was still dark outside. I was outside in the snow. And I took myself for a walk through a very quiet and very dark um, city because, most people were still asleep. It was Sunday morning. But it was snowing, and I had music playing, and I was just going around, and yeah, having a good time, enjoying the snow, taking a bunch of pictures, uploading them. Well, yeah, they're on my Instagram, which is linked on my YouTube channel, and vice versa. So a bunch of pictures that I took are on there. But yeah, I went out for a walk this morning. For like, I'd say like an hour and a half ish. By the time I finished, it was light outside and there were people around and stuff. But towards the end of the walk, I decided I wanted to go into a cafe and get a hot drink because I was freezing cold, I was wet, and I just wanted a hot drink to warm me up. So I walked to a cafe, and the door was open, so I went inside. But the lady behind the counter told me that they weren't open yet. And they open at 8:30, and at this time it was around 8 o'clock, so I was about 30 minutes too early. So I said back to her, "Oh, that's fine, don't worry about it." And I was about to leave, and then she stopped me and she said, "What do you want? What can I get you?" And so I asked her, I said, "Could I get a hot chocolate, please?" She was like, "Yeah, sure." Okay. So she went out of her way, despite not being open, to make me a hot chocolate. And then as I was getting my wallet out to pay, she told me, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's just take it. Just go." And so that was a really nice interaction. And I was very grateful for the free hot chocolate that she made, especially for me. And I think she took a liking to me because another customer came in after me, like a minute or two after I went in there. And she told them that they were closed and they weren't ready to serve yet. But then she still went ahead and made me a hot chocolate anyway. So I thanked her obviously, and wished her well and hoped she had a nice day and all that stuff. I'm probably going to go back to that same place, and I don't know, maybe try and I'll get like another drink or something, and leave a tip. Like if she's there, I'll leave a tip, just to say thank you because it was a very nice thing to do. She didn't have to do that, but she did, and so yeah, I got a free hot chocolate at the end of my snowy walk. So that was really nice. But yeah, that kind of concluded my walk this morning. After that, I went home, had some breakfast, and then I've kind of spent the rest of the day doing next to nothing. I kind of fell into the same problem that I've been having the past couple of weeks where I don't really know what to do with myself. I finished writing up and submitting an essay yesterday, so I wasn't really in the mood to do any more work, but at the same time I wanted to do something productive. I just didn't know what to do. So I ended up doing nothing at all, and I've spent most of my day on my phone. Um, but yeah, that's been my day, pretty much. Um, not very exciting, but the walk this morning was nice. Got some nice pictures in the snow. Um, so yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. Not much else has happened this week, and I think, new year, new me, whatever. Um, I'm gonna try and actually maintain a schedule for these videos, and I think I'm gonna choose Sunday. So every Sunday, I'm gonna try and get one of these videos uploaded. It's at the end of every week, so I can just talk about my week. But I'm gonna try to do one every week until, well, I don't know, until the end of the year, I guess. This is what I wanted to do from the beginning when I started making videos after starting uni. And I did say before Christmas that because I didn't really maintain it that well, I was going to wait until after the new year and basically start over. So here's to trying to do that. I don't know how well it's gonna go. I will try my best. I really will. At least while I'm not in uni, I shouldn't have a problem because there's no other things happening. But once uni starts back up again, we'll see how things go. I'm gonna try my best. That's all I can promise you. I'm not guaranteeing that you'll get a video every week, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that might do it for today, since I don't really know what else to talk about. But yeah, I hope you have had a good New Year's, a good Christmas, all that stuff. I hope this current year treats you well, and I hope you get to do all the things that you have been wanting to do, or whatever. Yeah, it's a new year, so fresh starts and all that stuff. But I'm gonna go. Thank you for listening. I will hopefully see you next week, next Sunday. Take care, and I will catch you next time. Good night. Oh, that's awkward. I tried to stop it. I don't know why I don't know why. This has happened like multiple times. I don't know why I thought pressing the spacebar would stop the recording. Apparently, it doesn't. So I keep trying to press the spacebar, and it doesn't stop the recording, and it gets really awkward. And now I'm here, and this has happened multiple times now, and I need to learn to not do that. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.